The world you think you know is not what it appears to be. Everything you see, touch, and believe is filtered through the lens of perception. Yet perception itself is not neutral. It is a dynamic, ever-shifting interface between your consciousness and the infinite possibilities that lie beneath the surface of existence. Time, space, matter, all of these are far less solid than you have been taught to believe. In the quantum realm, particles do not exist in a single, fixed state. Instead, they exist in a cloud of probabilities, each one a potential reality waiting for the act of observation to crystallize it into form. The very moment that you look, the universe responds. This is not metaphor, it is fact. And if the tiniest building blocks of reality, the atoms, electrons, and photons, respond to your gaze, then surely the larger structures you inhabit, the physical and experiential world you move through, are also influenced by your conscious attention. Your attention is not a passive tool, it is the most fundamental instrument of creation. Every thought, every choice, every intention sends ripples through layers of reality that are invisible but profoundly real. When you focus on fear, limitation, or doubt, you do not merely experience these things as external events, you participate in their manifestation. Conversely, when you focus on curiosity, wonder, or possibility, the universe begins to respond in subtle, often imperceptible ways, guiding outcomes in alignment with that energy. What most people call coincidence, luck, or timing is simply the universe synchronizing with the frequency of their awareness. Life begins to feel as though it is happening to you, as though you are a passenger in a story dictated by forces beyond your control. But this is an illusion. The story is fluid. It is co-authored by your attention. Consider the experience of witnessing an event unfold that seems random at first. Perhaps you meet someone unexpectedly, or an idea suddenly appears, or a solution to a problem arrives out of nowhere. These moments are not accidents. They are the echoes of your consciousness interacting with the underlying possibilities of existence. Each observation, each engagement with life collapses probabilities into a specific outcome, weaving the fabric of reality around your focus. And yet most people move through life blind to this truth, as if their perception has no power, as if noticing, observing, or intending could not possibly alter the course of events. The recognition of this principle is both exhilarating and terrifying. If reality responds to your attention, then ignoring it, being distracted, or being unconscious of your own focus still shapes the world. Every glance, every thought, every sensation is a brushstroke on the canvas of existence. Nothing is separate. There is no distant, outside reality that moves independently of your awareness. The boundary between observer and observed is an illusion. What you call the world is in constant dialogue with the mind that perceives it. In this light, every experience, pain, joy, loss, triumph, is not just something that happens to you, it is something you participate in creating whether you realize it or not. And this is where the mystery deepens. Most people live their lives as though reality is a set of rules to follow or circumstances to endure, never realizing that the rules themselves are emerging from their own perception. The quantum universe does not impose limitations, it reflects them. It does not resist, it mirrors. If you observe scarcity, fear, or chaos, the universe presents opportunities to witness those realities more fully. If you observe abundance, love, and coherence, the universe unfolds those possibilities in response. The dance between observer and reality is subtle, intricate, and unceasing. It is the pulse beneath every heartbeat, the rhythm behind every breath, the silent architecture of all experience. To awaken to this truth is to awaken to responsibility. Not a heavy responsibility, but a profound recognition that you are not a passive witness in life. You are an active participant, a conscious force shaping the flow of events through attention itself. To notice is to act, to observe is to create. Every moment carries the potential for alignment with infinite possibility, yet this potential remains dormant unless engaged by your awareness. The deeper you understand this, the more your perception becomes a sacred practice. To see clearly is not merely to understand, it is to shape, to mold, to bring forth. You are, in the truest sense, the bridge between what could be and what is, the conduit through which possibility condenses into tangible experience. Here is the paradox. The very act of watching, of observing, of paying attention is never neutral. The moment you direct your consciousness towards something, you alter its trajectory. Reality is not waiting in some fixed, predetermined state, indifferent to your presence. On the contrary, it bends, shifts, and adapts in response to your gaze. In the quantum world, this is known as the observer effect, a principle so profound that it reveals the intimate dance between consciousness and existence itself. Subatomic particles, for example, do not commit to a definite position or state until they are observed, measured, or noticed. Until that moment, they exist as a spectrum of infinite possibilities, a cloud of probabilities, and once attention is applied, the potential crystallizes into a tangible, specific outcome. This principle, while most evident in physics laboratories, is mirrored across the entirety of experience, your relationships, your opportunities, your very life. The paradox is that the act of observing is not passive, it is an act of creation. Every choice you make, every glance you cast, every thought you entertain participates in this process. Consider a moment when intuition guides you. An unexpected solution appears, or a person you needed to meet crosses your path. Often, it seems like luck, fate, or coincidence, but in truth, these are the traces of consciousness interacting with the latent possibilities of reality. When you notice, when you observe with clarity, you begin to collapse possibilities into specific manifestations. When you fail to notice, when attention is scattered or unconscious, the universe remains in potential, awaiting your focus to define it. The unsettling truth here is that nothing exists independently of your awareness. Even ignoring the world is an act that shapes it. Reality, therefore, is not out there, separate from you. It is a reflection, a mirror of where your attention resides. This understanding can be disorienting, even frightening. Most people assume life is objective, that events happen to them according to forces beyond their control. They believe they are passengers reacting to circumstances. Yet the moment you recognize that observing, noticing, and being present has the power to shape outcomes, responsibility shifts. No longer is life something that happens to you. You are not merely moving through a pre-written script. Every observation, every act of attention, every intention is a brushstroke on the canvas of existence. And this is why the paradox is so profoundly disarming. The universe simultaneously demands your awareness and grants it, offering freedom while reminding you that neglect is also participation. It becomes clear that reality is not fixed. It is fluid, malleable, and deeply sensitive to consciousness. If you look at life with fear, doubt, or resentment, those energies are mirrored back, appearing as external obstacles or limitations. If you observe with curiosity, openness, and clarity, reality begins to align with those frequencies. And yet, this is not about controlling the world or forcing outcomes. It is about the subtle mastery of perception itself. To witness is to influence. To notice is to co-create. This principle is not only metaphysical, it is existential. It calls into question everything you have assumed about identity, power, and freedom. If your attention shapes reality, then your inner life, your thoughts, your focus, your gaze, is the hidden architect of everything you experience. The paradox deepens when you realize that observation does not guarantee control. Consciousness shapes outcomes, but it does so in interplay with infinite possibilities and the awareness of others. The dance is dynamic. Your observation can align, clash, or resonate with the energies of the collective, producing results that are sometimes unexpected, often mysterious, and always instructive. You are both powerful and humble in this process. You are the agent through which reality manifests, yet you are also part of a larger field of consciousness, intricately connected to everything around you. Every moment carries this duality: creation and surrender, influence and observation, knowing and not knowing. To awaken to this paradox is to awaken to a new level of consciousness. Life is no longer a series of random events. It becomes a living, responsive field that interacts with the quality of your attention. This is why mindfulness, focus, and awareness are not mere practices. They are acts of participation in the quantum field. The paradox of seeing is that by watching, you shape reality, yet you must also release attachment to outcomes, allowing the flow to reveal its own intelligence. Observation is creation, but creation is also surrender. You become the witness and the creator simultaneously, and in this dual role, the deepest truths of existence are revealed. that nothing is fixed, everything is possible, and the universe is waiting for your gaze to bring it into form. Now let us go deeper, beyond the surface of observation, beyond the paradox of seeing, into the very architecture of reality itself. Reality in its most subtle and profound sense is not a machine operating independently of consciousness. It is not a pre-written script unfolding without input. Instead, reality is a living, responsive, and invisible architecture, constructed moment by moment through the interaction of attention, intention, and perception. Every thought you hold, every feeling you nurture, every expectation you carry is not merely internal. It is a thread in the intricate web of existence, a vibration that resonates through the unseen layers of possibility, influencing outcomes before they ever manifest in the physical world. Your mind, far from being a passive observer, is the active creator, the hidden engine behind the events, relationships, and circumstances you experience. Consider how subtle this process is. It is not always dramatic or obvious. Often, the shaping of reality occurs in the spaces between moments, in the gaps where attention quietly lingers. A fleeting thought, a sudden insight, a shift in mood or perception can redirect entire trajectories. These moments seem insignificant, even trivial, yet they carry immense creative potential. The quantum field, the underlying potentiality of existence, is not chaotic. It is responsive. It is waiting for consciousness to provide direction, to bring form to what exists only as possibility. Your mind is the bridge between these two realms, the unseen and the seen, the potential and the manifested. Every human experience, every interaction, and every decision is intertwined with this invisible architecture. When you focus on fear, scarcity, or limitation, you are not simply thinking negatively. You are feeding a probability into existence, one that will reflect itself in subtle ways, often imperceptible at first. Conversely, when you direct your attention toward curiosity, clarity, and possibility, you are creating resonance in the field of potential, allowing outcomes aligned with these qualities to emerge naturally. This does not mean life becomes predictable or mechanical. The universe does not obey commands like a machine. It is far more intelligent, subtle, and responsive. It operates like a living organism, sensitive to the quality and coherence of consciousness that engages with it. The invisible architecture is also profoundly intricate. It does not respond solely to singular moments of focus, but to the cumulative patterns of attention, thought, and intention that you cultivate over time. Your inner life, the beliefs you hold, the images you entertain, the stories you tell yourself, shapes not only your perception of reality, but reality itself. Every emotion, every inner dialogue, every subtle expectation leaves an imprint, rippling through layers of existence that are invisible yet profoundly real. You are, in the truest sense, a sculptor of reality, using the tools of attention, awareness, and intention to mold a world that mirrors your inner state. This is why practices of mindfulness, contemplation, and reflective awareness are not simply personal tools. They are methods of interacting with the quantum architecture of reality. To refine your inner landscape is to refine the potential outcomes you draw toward yourself. To observe with clarity, to act with conscious intent, to nurture alignment between thought, emotion, and focus is to participate consciously in the ongoing creation of existence. Your inner state is inseparable from the world you experience. You are not observing from outside. You are embedded within the fabric of creation itself, an inseparable node in the field of infinite potential. And yet, this is not a call to arrogance or control. The invisible architecture operates with intelligence and subtlety, not with blind obedience. The universe does not merely mirror desires, it responds to coherence, resonance, and alignment. You are invited into a dance, a co-creative process where attention meets possibility, where intention meets potential, and where consciousness meets the infinite. By engaging with this architecture, by recognizing your mind as the creative instrument it truly is, you awaken to a level of power that is not coercive but transformative, subtle but infinitely profound. The mind is the bridge, the instrument, the portal through which the hidden possibilities of reality are brought into being. You are not waiting for the universe to reveal itself. The universe waits for your consciousness to define it. Look closely at your own life, and you begin to see the subtle threads connecting moments of intuition, synchronicity, and insight. There are times when events unfold with such precision, with such uncanny alignment, that it feels as though the universe is conspiring in your favor. Perhaps a solution appears just when it is most needed. A conversation shifts the course of a relationship, or an opportunity manifests in ways that defy ordinary explanation. These are not coincidences. They are reflections of a deeper truth, that your consciousness is not a passive spectator in the unfolding of reality. You are an active participant, a force whose attention, intention, and presence shape the world in ways both subtle and profound. You are not observing these events from a distance. You are entwined with them, intricately woven into the fabric of existence. Every thought you entertain, every belief you hold, every expectation you carry leaves an imprint. This is not abstract. It is tangible in the way life unfolds around you. The moments when you feel aligned, when life seems to flow effortlessly, are evidence of this resonance. Your inner state is reflected outward, shaping the currents of reality in ways that are often invisible until you look back and trace the patterns. And yet, most people move through life blind to this power, unaware that the act of noticing, the act of conscious engagement, is itself an act of creation. There is a profound intimacy in this realization. To recognize that your attention participates in the formation of reality is to recognize that your very being matters in the grand orchestration of existence. You are not insignificant. You are not a passive witness to events. The soul, through consciousness, leaves subtle yet transformative fingerprints on the world. And this recognition is not meant to inflate the ego. It is meant to awaken a quiet, sovereign understanding that life responds to the depth and clarity of your presence. You are seen, even when you feel invisible. You are influential, even when your influence appears hidden. Every thought, every feeling, every act of awareness is a note in the symphony of creation, echoing outward across the invisible architecture of reality. Look further, and you realize that power is inseparable from responsibility. Your inner life is a dynamic field of creation, a quantum playground where the probabilities of existence wait for engagement. When you act unconsciously, life unfolds according to patterns set by habit, expectation, and fear. When you act with awareness, life responds to the resonance of your soul, offering experiences that align with your highest frequency. This is the hidden geometry of existence. Consciousness shapes experience not through control, but through coherent observation, intentional focus, and the alignment of inner life with the flow of reality. The act of noticing becomes an act of creation. The act of attention becomes an act of shaping. And yet, there is a deeper, subtler layer to this power. It is not about forcing outcomes or manipulating events. It is about attuning to the currents that already exist, aligning your inner world with the possibilities that resonate most deeply with your being. True power emerges from recognition. Recognition that you are both observer and participant, both witness and creator, both soul and field. Your consciousness is the lens through which potential becomes actual, a bridge between what could be and what is. Every intention you cultivate, every moment of clarity you allow, every act of witnessing your own life strengthens your connection to the quantum flow. You are not merely living life, you are shaping it from within, moment by moment, observation by observation. This is why reflection becomes sacred. To look inward, to examine the subtle currents of thought, emotion, and perception, is to engage directly with the unseen mechanics of reality. It is a practice of conscious participation, a recognition of your role in the ongoing creation of existence. Every loss, every triumph, every unexpected encounter becomes a mirror, reflecting the power and subtlety of your consciousness. When you recognize this, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. The mundane becomes alive with possibility. Life itself becomes a teacher, revealing the depth, intelligence, and responsiveness of the universe through the intimate lens of your awareness. You are not merely passing through the world, you are shaping it, moment by moment, from within the boundless field of your own soul. The next step is subtle, almost imperceptible, yet it carries the potential to transform every aspect of your life. It begins with noticing, not observing in the ordinary sense, but seeing with intention, with awareness, with the quiet understanding that your attention shapes reality. To engage with the quantum observer effect is not about forcing outcomes or attempting to control the world. It is about stepping into a flow that already exists, a current of possibility that responds to the quality of your consciousness. The universe is not a rigid structure. It is a living, breathing field of infinite potential, and your mind is the instrument through which that potential begins to take form. Every thought, every glance, every act of presence becomes a co-creative force, rippling through the layers of existence, shifting probabilities, shaping experiences. This flow is subtle, but unmistakable once you begin to feel it. You may notice synchronistic events, moments when reality seems to align in uncanny ways, when solutions emerge effortlessly, when guidance appears in forms you could never have predicted. These are not coincidences. They are reflections of your consciousness interacting with the quantum field, revealing that the universe responds not to demands, but to attention, focus, and alignment. And yet, this engagement requires something more than mere observation. It requires intention that is coherent, clarity that is unwavering, and awareness that is present. The act of noticing must be deliberate, not distracted. The act of paying attention must be conscious, not habitual. Each moment is an invitation to step fully into your power, to participate actively in the creation of reality, rather than drifting unconsciously through its currents. This is a practice of subtle mastery, a cultivation of inner resonance that shapes the outer world without force. You begin by observing your own mind, the patterns of thought, the expectations, the subtle judgments that guide perception. You notice where your attention drifts, what stories your mind tells, and how these narratives influence the events you encounter. You begin to recognize that your inner life is inseparable from your outer reality. To shift one, you must shift the other. The universe responds to coherence, to alignment, to the frequency of your awareness. When your inner state resonates with clarity, curiosity, and openness, possibilities that once seemed impossible begin to emerge naturally. When your inner state is clouded by fear, doubt, or distraction, the field of potential resists, reflecting back confusion, delay, or misalignment. Engaging with the quantum flow also requires surrender, not in the sense of giving up, but in the sense of trusting that the universe is responsive, intelligent, and infinitely subtle. You are not imposing your will on existence. You are aligning with the hidden currents of potential that await your consciousness. This is a delicate balance. Intention without force, awareness without attachment, observation without judgment. The invitation is to participate fully, yet lightly, to engage deeply, while remaining open to the unfolding intelligence of the universe. The act of witnessing becomes sacred, the act of focusing becomes transformative, and the act of stepping into awareness becomes a gateway to co-creation. And so the practice is both mystical and practical. It is felt as a subtle shift within, a quiet awareness of the field of possibility, a recognition that every glance, thought, and intention participates in the shaping of reality. The quantum field is not distant. It is here, now, woven through every experience, waiting for your attention, your conscious participation, your deliberate engagement. You are invited to step into this flow, to recognize that reality is not a fixed stage upon which life happens, but a living, responsive field that responds to your consciousness. The question is no longer what happens to you. The question is how you choose to witness, engage, and participate in the unfolding of reality. Every moment carries this invitation. Every interaction, every thought, every sensation is an opportunity to align with the hidden architecture of creation. The universe is not separate from you. It responds to the frequency of your attention. The field of infinite possibilities is alive, waiting for your awareness to collapse it into manifestation. To step into this flow is to awaken not only to the subtlety of reality, but to the profound power that resides within you. To notice, to observe, to attend with conscious awareness is to become a participant in the ongoing creation of existence. And once you engage in this way, life ceases to be a passive experience and becomes a living, responsive mirror of the soul, reflecting back the depth, intelligence, and resonance of your own consciousness. And so the journey returns to its beginning. The universe is not fixed. It does not unfold independently. It waits for your attention, your observation, your conscious engagement. To watch is to create, to notice is to manifest. And in this truth lies a liberation that is both terrifying and magnificent, Nothing outside you controls the quantum field of existence, because the true power, the hidden knowledge, and the mystical force are within the observer, you. Reality, in its most subtle and profound sense, is your reflection. The question is not whether you can change it. The question is whether you will finally look.